So finally, after a few days evaporating, I got a precipitate. I'm not entirely sure if it's just malic acid that reached its saturation point in the ethanol, or if it's the malate of the alkaloid that I'm trying to get. So here, I'll probably just let this evaporate completely, and afterwards I'll weigh everything. I know there will be an excess of malic acid, but what I'll try to do is use isopropanol to see the solubility of the malate and the malic acid. Hopefully just the malic acid dissolves, but I'm not entirely sure. So, no, you know what? I'll actually decant this, keeping the salts, and I'll try to do a test either with my ninhydin, that reagent that should turn purple, and I'll try to do some solubility tests. I mean, it looks, I don't know, can't really tell what it is. This larger chunk of salts formed slightly beforehand, and it has increased in amount. So yeah, so similar to the mimosa alkaloid where I added the salicylic acid, this will be impractical, so another salt would be preferable. But at the very end, at the very saturated point, if it is indeed the alkaloid, it is viable, just not practical. With the mimosa anti-solvent, the salt brine precipitate, I kept the solution since it's still fairly cloudy, and there does seem to be a small amount of more precipitate, so we'll see what's going on with that. And I was able to decant the syrup-like alcohol now, and it does taste like sour apple, so I assume that a majority of the malic acid is in the ethanol solution. It's fairly thick, and as it evaporates further, I guess it'll turn into a syrup-like consistency. There was a small amount of, I can't get it on camera since it's kind of dark. There was a small amount of the crystals that did go along with the decanting, but it's incredibly minimal. So I'll let this dry, and I'll take a portion, I'll do some solubility tests. I'll try to test with my reagent, which I think already went bad, but we'll see if I get some sort of staining. And yeah, from there, in theory, this should be close to 1 gram. If it surpasses it by too much, I'll know it's a heavy contamination of the malic acid. And I didn't really measure the amount of malic acid that I was adding to the solution at the time, so I'm sure there is a far excess amount, but there is something. It does look promising, particularly these larger chunks in the middle, and I'll keep evaporating this down to see what it ends up as. So I'm fairly certain that the orangish crystals were indeed the malate of the cactus salt. On the borders, you can see a somewhat white to clear crystal, and the yellowish orange crystal lightened in color since as the alcohol evaporated, there's microcrystals that are forming of the malic acid. So yeah. So just a rough estimate, it's around 100 milligrams per milliliter of ethanol 96 is the solubility of this salt.